Alright, hello everyone, my name is Sarafi and I'm thrilled to have you all with me, and tonight we're going to be discussing the KC Cup and what I think is going to be nerfed and what I think is going to be changed. I've been playing the KC Cup, I'm currently DL18, but I've seen a lot of decks and I have a lot of thoughts and opinions. So let's talk about the best decks and what we can expect to see moving forward. So let's start off with the best deck in the meta, which is Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes topping all over the place. Let's see, we got a first place list here. Battle Chronicle with 3 Crows, 3 Dragon Spirit of Whites, Blue Eyes Alternative, Blackluster Soldier, triple Blue Eyes, 1 Successor Soul, double Forbidden Lance, 2 Ultimate Fusion, 2 Melody of the Awakening Dragons, Enemy Controller, Bingo Machine Go, and Crackdown, along with all these cards. Okay. So there are a few things that they could do to Blue Eyes to make it a little bit more in line, although I don't know that they want to do that. Blue Eyes is a very popular deck. It's a deck that a lot of people like to play. And if you nerf it, it is a deck that is going to hurt a lot of players. But if Blue Eyes needs to be brought into line, the best way that they could do that is going to be with Dragon Spirit of White to 3. So obviously there's a lot of synergy between Crackdown and Successor Soul. Absolutely. But the problem is, if you change it so that you can only play like 2 Crackdowns and 1 Successor Soul, people are still going to do that. This list is playing 1 Successor Soul, 2 Crackdowns. So because Successor Soul is a card you can search, it's not a card that's very good to limit. In the same way that they limited 3 on limit or removal, and limiting 3 on limit or removal does basically nothing. You draw the card for free with the skill. So people only play 1 copy of limited removal anyway. All that does is mean that you can only play 2 of a limit 3 card. Is that really that big of a deal? No, it's not. No one cares about the limit 3 on limited removal. No one would care about a limit 3 on Successor Soul for the same reason. So instead, limiting Dragon Spirit of White makes a lot more sense. This is a card you absolutely play at 3 because it enables the skill as opposed to being drawn by the skill. And it's just a very good card that has a lot of power for the deck. You should not sleep on the fact that Dragon Spirit of White is basically just a Cosmic Cyclone that you play that doesn't brick you. Cosmic Cyclone is a very good card. The problem with Cosmic Cyclone has always been in a 4-card hand, if you draw 2 Cosmic Cyclones, you lose the game because you don't have enough ways to generate a board. Dragon Spirit of White is a Cosmic Cyclone that's also a 1-card combo because it starts your skill off and makes you go off entirely. So Dragon Spirit of White, because it is a Cosmic Cyclone, is like the ridiculous powerhouse of the deck. And that's a card that definitely should be put to 3. If that gets put to 3, then people will just stop playing Crackdown. And if people stop playing Crackdown in Blue Eyes, it will still be a good deck, it just won't be the best deck. And that's probably going to be the best change Konami can make this KC Cup. As a side note for Battle Chronicle, I do think Konami made a huge mistake with Battle Chronicle that they need to address at this point, because they need to acknowledge that a level 7 or above monster is not the correct target for this. They should instead make it a level 6 or above monster, because all of Dark Magician's cards, like Dark Magician Girl, like Apprentice Illusion Magician, which is in the structure deck, are level 6. So you are seeing a ton of Blue Eyes and not very much Dark Magician, not because Blue Eyes is particularly better than Dark Magician. Ultimate Fusion is a better card than the Magician Trap card that they gave us, but not that much better. The real problem is the fact that Dark Magician just has a lot of trouble actually activating the skill. So they should definitely change this. They should make it so that, first of all, it's just all summons. Because right now it's very confusing. It is a normal summon or fusion summon if you summon a monster. It is not summoned or fusion summon, because obviously. So if you special summon Alternative, it doesn't trigger the skill because it's not a normal summon. So they should change it so that it's any type of summoning, and they should make it apply to 6 and above so that Dark Magician can actually trigger the skill, and that will make the decks a lot more interesting, because right now it's very one-sided. Okay, so that is Blue Eyes. Now let's take a look at some of the other decks that we have. We have Sky Strikers. Sky Strikers coming out of the gate swinging. Getting a few tops, nothing too extreme here. The problem with Sky Strikers is there's not really a whole lot that you could potentially hit that wouldn't kill the deck, because we don't have enough cards for the deck yet. right? So any card that you limit with Sky Strikers is just going to make the deck so much worse, because right now we're basically playing every card already allowed for Sky Strikers. If they do limit a card in Sky Strikers, it's probably going to be Jamming Waves, because that's the card they didn't reprint. So it makes the most sense to hit Jamming Waves, because that's a card that they weren't pushing this time around. They didn't really care if people started playing Jamming Waves. A lot of people who already had Jamming Waves started playing it, and it made the deck a little bit more powerful than I think Konami was intending. So they could put Jamming Waves to 2, and that would make people not play Jamming Waves, and that would reduce the power of Sky Strikers quite a bit without hitting any of the new cards. So that's probably what they'll do. For zombies, zombies are a mid deck. They do pretty well, but they're not topping in any major tournaments recently. Last time was a second place back on the 5th. That's pretty far away. All the cards for zombies are really new. Like Mizuki is really powerful, Unizombie is really powerful, but those are like brand new cards, so they don't want to nerf them too early. I don't think there's going to be a Shiranui hit. Shiranui is powerful, but it's like on the it's an acceptable power. Like it's very consistent, and that's why it does so well. But when you think about it, a board that can't be destroyed by battle and has problems being destroyed by card effects, special summoning a monster that pops without targeting one card, it's not that strong. It's a strong deck, don't get me wrong, but it's not like an unbreakable board. The real problem that people have with the Shiranui going first is primarily that there's not a lot of ways to interrupt the activation of the Link 3. Because a lot of people, when they want to interrupt a card going second, they use Book of Moon, and Book of Moon doesn't work on Link monsters. So they should give us a card that we can use to try and remove. We have Kurikara already, and we have Kaijus. So I can't really fault Konami. We have all the tools that are necessary to stop the Shiranui deck from going off at all, but people just aren't playing them. So, I don't know. I mean, my sincere answer to all of you who are wanting Shiranui nerfs is just to say, you should play Kaijus. It is beyond time that people started playing Kaijus in every one of their lists. They are good cards. If your skill does not prevent you from summoning Kaijus, you should play Kaijus. Now, the problem is that there are too many skills that prevent you from summoning Kaijus, which kind of prevents people from experimenting with Kaijus because they're so used to art-type blocking themselves. Which is kind of a weird mindset. If you haven't played anything but Duel Links, it's going to be difficult for you to kind of visualize what cards are just generally good. And it shouldn't be a requirement for you to be good at Duel Links to play Master Duel or the TCG. I agree with that. But still, like, the Shiranui board is not that big of a deal. The trap card. Someone's saying, my problem with Shiranui is Samsara. That is correct. Samsara is a dangerous card. And the fact that people are playing more of it is annoying. Let's see. Oops. Last first place that Shiranui got, Samsara at 1. Konami should really put Mizuki to 3. That's what they really should do. If they put Mizuki to 3, Shiranui just stops playing it. And I think that Mizuki belongs in other zombie decks, but it does not belong in Shiranui at all. So, yeah, I would say put Mizuki to 3. That prevents the other zombie decks from playing spicy cards. And you could also then limit a Makashi card. Because right now, the problem with Makashi is a good deck, but you can't limit any of its cards because they don't play any limited cards. So if you limited Mizuki, and then you could also limit another Makashi card, that would kind of make things harder for Makashi. So that's what they probably will end up doing. But it's going to be like a big shakeup if they do that. So zombies, nerf to zombies, nothing. They need Mizuki to be limited to 3. So the generic zombie pile deck should be untouched otherwise. Just Mizuki to 3, and then they aren't affected at all. They run the exact same list, no big deal. Then Shiranui stops playing so many copies of Mizuki. They probably want to run one copy of Mizuki and then 2 copies of Solitaire, which will make the deck much less consistent, which is good for us. And then for Makashi, if you put Mizuki to 3, then you can put Yuki Misume, the Ice Makashi, to 3. This is the annoying card. This is the card that's really, really like the extender that you just cannot deal with no matter what you try and do. Daki is a fine card. Daki is not that big of a deal. But Yuki Misume is just dumb, especially since you can mill Mizuki with it. So they should put Yuki Mizume and Mizuki to 3 each. And then people will still play like 2 copies of Yuki Misume and 1 copy of Mizuki, and it won't affect the deck that much because you do have 1-for-1 to bring Yuki Misume out. You can search it with the Makashi return, and you can also use it. As long as you have Yuki Misume, you can mill your 1 copy of Mizuki, but you can't mill it more than once. And really, Makashi should be a deck that kind of like, if they don't win the game with their opening start, they should not be able to continue to come back. That's the real problem. The problem with Makashi is their turn 1 is good enough, and they have such a long game. They have way too long of a game for how good their deck is. So Makashi should have its long game cut down by reducing the number of copies of Mizuki they have access to. And the best way to do that, Yuki Misume to 3, Mizuki to 3. TGs. TGs are fun. Someone hit first place. For my chat, I will read all of your comments after I'm done recording. Someone's playing Limited Removal at 2. That's surprising. Okay, so with TGs, the real annoying thing about TGs is the fact that they play Miscellaneousaurus. That's dumb. They should not be able to do that. So that's not a situation where you need to limit Miscellaneousaurus. You should not put Miscellaneousaurus to 3. That would be dumb. Instead, you just change the skill. Just make it so that you can only play TG monsters. Change the skill, straight up. No, only TG monsters. There's no reason to give them access to Effect Veil or DD Crow when they already have such a strong opening board. If you can't win with TGs, then you shouldn't play TGs. So, just change the deck. Main deck, only TGs. Extra deck, still same restrictions, and you'll be fine. No nerfs needed. Then we have Galaxy Photon. I don't know. I don't think Galaxy Photon is really tier 3. It's a deck that I was excited for. It's a strong deck, but ever since they lost like access to Felgrin when they're trying so hard to play Pleiades, it's really made the deck a lot worse in my opinion. Basically, Photon Dragon Advent is carried by the fact that they can make Sanafon on turn 1. Like, that's the whole thing. They are very, very good at countering all the zombie decks because they play Sanafon, and that's it. So, but I don't like trade-in being unlimited either. That's the other thing. Like, this is an opportunity for us to go ahead and nerf trade-in because trade-in is just such a stupid card. We should not have access to this much unlimited draw in Duel Links. Duel Links is already half the deck size. So, I think trade-in should be at 2, honestly. If they make any sort of change to Photon Dragon Advent, it will be putting trade-in to 2, and that'd be fine. Teny is considered to be on this list? Sure, whatever. I've seen a few Teny players in the actual KC Cup. Teny is an old deck. Teny deserves to get shot at this point. Like, it's so old, I don't want to see it. I never want to see it again. I said this last time, and I'll say it again. Vessel for the Dragon Cycle, already at 2. Put it hard at 2. Teny stops being a deck. There you go. Kill Teny just so that I stop seeing it. That's what I agree with. Okay. Alright, that's my opinion. As far as unhits, let's take a look at the hits real quick. Let's see. Oh my god, DLM. people actually use this website. Okay. Forbidden limited list. Okay. Forbidden cards, nothing needs to come off. These are all fine. I mean, I would like to see Mermaid come back at some point, but I don't think it's ready yet. There's been a lot of discussion about whether Hey True Nate should come back, and a lot of disagreements. Probably not. And then Grass, I feel like Grass could be at 1 and it wouldn't change anything, but too many people are like triggered by this card. So Grass should be at 1, but they're not going to do it. Then for the limit 1s, let's see. They should take Raging Dragon off. This card does not need to be limit 1 anymore. Shooting Riser. I don't like Shooting Riser being at 1. I understand that it was like a 1 to deal with Raging Dragon, but they nerfed the skill. So since they nerfed the skill, these 2 hits don't make any more sense. Just unlimit both these cards. Topologic should be unlimited. No one plays this card at all. This card could be a lot of fun, a very interesting card if they put it at unlimited. Really, I should make a video about like soft limits. Like when you have 1 copy of a card in the game, does the card really need to be limited to 1? In most cases, not really. There are a few exceptions, like for example, 1-for-1 and Reinforcing the Army, which are just insane cards. If it's limit 1 in like the real game, then yeah, it should definitely be limit 1 in Duel Links. But like a card like Topologic Bomber Dragon isn't that big of a deal. So yeah. Spear Kraken and Fire Flux should definitely come off. These cards are limited 1 for meme reasons. I understand that Konami doesn't want Stall to exist, but Stall already exists, so deal with it. Everything else is probably fine. Let me see. I'm not really seeing anything else that I would probably take Orchestrated Release off. Like Orchest is not that big of a deal anymore. Take Release off. You made the mistake of limiting 1 on this card anyway. It should have definitely been Return when Orchest was a problem, but now that Orchest isn't a problem anymore, just unlimited release. Free Storm. Storm. Yeah, Storm can come off. Storm doesn't do anything. Yeah, Storm should be unlimited since we banned Trenade. I would personally like to see Infernity Launcher come off. Maybe put it to 3. But Infernity Launcher being at 1 just makes the deck too hard to play. And Trishula is still already 1, so it's not like they can spam Trishula. Restrictor Revolution is another card that just doesn't make sense. They should unlimit this card. And Needlebug Nest, since we have the rank 4, this card doesn't make sense to be limited 1 either. For the limit 2s, Brave Neos, no longer a threat, unlimit this. Rhino's Bus, we have much better quick play effects at this point, just unlimit it. Sovereignty should be unlimited because Dumont is coming. We don't want to have limited cards for Dumont. Crimson Fox is like, because we have Kaleidochick and Lunalight Fusion, like this card doesn't make sense to be limited to 2. There's not another card that competes with it, so you only need to run 1 copy of Crimson Fox anyway. So this is just like an unnecessary limit. It doesn't accomplish anything. So it annoys me that it's there. Unlimit this card. Cyberload Fusion and Cybernetic Overflow should come off. The skill has been nerfed. Like they should just give us these cards back at full power. Concentrating Current, there's nothing this card competes with at this point. Although I will say that Concentrating Current does kind of mess with Sky Strikers, because Concentrating Current is a card that I thought I would want to play with Ray, but you can't play it because you have Widow Anchor. So maybe they leave Concentrating Current on the list this time just because it's a nerf to Sky Strikers to not have it, because if you have Concentrating Current, you can attack with Ray. Concentrating Current, 33,000. Oh, other monsters you control cannot attack. Never mind. Okay. Yeah, this card can come off. Vessel, Void Vanishment, all these cards are fine. Megaroid City, this card should come off. There's no reason to limit it. Everything else is fine. And then for the limit 3s, all these look solid. Emerald Bird should come off. Transmodify should come off. Like, what are we stopping by having Transmodify at 3? Really, nothing. And Pinch Helper should come off because it's not. There's no point. It's debatable about whether Triad Dice is a problem or not. I really don't like that they put Triad Dice in the game because really, like, this was a card that they never really wanted to see any play. I can understand them thinking, you know, there's only so many tuners that Speedrides have access to, but like, this is just a stall card. It's not fun. It's not fair. So I almost say they should just ban this card and get it over with because it's not a card that you really want to see at all. But as long as it's in the game, it's either got to be banned or it's got to be unlimited. Like, putting it at 3, no one's going to play it. And if you wanted it in the game for Speedroids to play, then why did you put it at 3? Like, I understand that it's a stall card, and stall cards are annoying, but Speedroids are not going to choose this as their limit 3 option. So either ban the card or unlimited it, because it's not going to see any play at 3. And if you want it to be experimented with, then just unlimited it. Oh, and Silver Rocket Dragon. All right, there you go. That is my take on the meta. My name is Strafi, and I was thrilled to have you all with me.